Hey everyone, it's Bina 007 back for a quick movie review of The Wild Robot, which is an absolutely gorgeous animated film that I think it's already on release in the United States, but it showed at the BFI London Film Festival yesterday. It was so beautiful. It was amazing to see it on the big screen, but it will be available to watch in the UK at the end of this week. So, The Wild Robot, it's a film that's visually stunning. It's so funny, but it's also incredibly moving. I'm not going to lie, I did cry watching this. I haven't felt this invested in an animated film for forever, or this awed by the visuals. It's just so beautiful. So, kudos to director Chris Sanders. He has made films like Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon. He's been nominated for an Oscar 3 times, but I really hope he wins for this film. So, The Wild Robot is based on a series of books by Peter Brown, and it tells the story of a robot called Roz, who is voiced by Lupita Nyong'o. And Roz is shipwrecked on a wilderness island and learns to escape her programming and to feel love. It's so gorgeous. But in that crash landing and this sort of frenetic first day on the island, she actually lands on and kills a goose family and so becomes the adoptive mother of the little gosling who's left alive in his shell. And this little gosling called Bright Bill imprints himself on her, and they become the most amazing mother-son combination. At first, for Roz, this is just about being assigned a task that she has to complete in a sort of Siri type robotic way. And she defines this as making sure he eats, that he learns to swim, and that he can fly so that he can join the winter migration of the geese. But as she takes on this role, she just becomes a mum. She just becomes a mum, and it's so wonderful to see this relationship blossom. Roz is helped in raising Brightbell by a wily but ultimately warm hearted fox called Fink, who's played by Pedro Pascal, who will be known to you all from things like The Mandalorian, which also has a kind of weird adoptive father son relationship in it. And it's a really lovely sort of found family film, I think. But the other animals on the island, they look on this weird trio with mockery, bewilderment, and fear. Because Roz is this giant monster robot, and the fox is a predator. And let's be clear, this is not the Lion King. This is not a world in which the circle of life is kind of alluded to. This is a film in which we're very aware that animals eat other animals and that fear is part of survival. So death is kind of faced head on from the opening scene, as in Bambi, and it continues to be faced all the way through the film. And from that perspective, I think, like all the best children's film, it allows them to face peril and to face high stakes in a sort of safe environment, but allows them to feel that fear and do so in a cathartic way. The point of the film is not just that Roz learns to escape her programming and find love, but she also helps the animals on the island to realize that, yes, they are trapped in a circle of predatorship, but when the savage winter comes to the island, that actually they can all help each other to stay safe and stay warm and to survive until spring. And also that they shouldn't fear the unknown. There's a really beautiful and profound message here that this thing that they called a monster is actually the thing that's going out of its way to protect them. And the silly comedic beaver, played by Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows, isn't someone to be mocked, but is actually a very skilled craftsman who can also help them. So it's a film about learning to respect each other and to love each other and to live in harmony, which I think is a wonderful message. The warm heart of this film, the beautifully warm heart, is nowhere better exemplified, I think, than in the character of Longbill, who is an old, wise, kind goose played by Bill Nighy. And it's really funny, right? Because in Britain in particular, we think of Bill Nighy playing these acerbic characters, no more so than his own persona. I mean, the roar of approval and laughter and applause when he came on stage at the London Film Festival. The guy is a national treasure for playing himself, right, as a kind of witty, acerbic character. But in this voice role, he plays Long Bill with such warmth and such wisdom and encouragement. It's an incredibly wonderful role. And again, something a little bit outside of his comfort zone, I think. But also, the entire voice cast is superb. I love how Lupita Nyong'o moves from this sort of relentless optimism of the Siri like robot into something much more warm and modulated with varying tones as she kind of creates her humanity. I really liked Pedro Pascal as Fink, playing in a much funnier role than he's often been given recently because he's a really funny guy. But it's a deeply vulnerable role too, so he gets to show more of his character. And the supporting cast is great too. We have Catherine O'Hara there as a mother of many many little babies who Roz can learn from a little bit. We have Matt Berry, as I said, as the beaver. He's hilarious. And also, my goodness, legendary Mark Hamill as the big winter bear. I want to close out by just talking a little bit more about how beautiful this film looks. I think we've all become so used to those kind of very shiny, stylized Pixar worlds that it's kind of amazing to see something so beautifully rendered. It's a magical realism. It's so stunning. The rendering of the animals, the wilderness, the night scenes in particular, the way the lights glint at night from Roz's robot eyes, the way that Roz is designed to slowly be covered in moss and have a bit of a wooden leg. I mean, it's the way she becomes partly organic. The whole thing is so beautifully imagined. It's a feast for the imagination. I felt utterly immersed in it, delighted by the world. It made me feel like a childlike sense of wonder again, for which I'm truly grateful. So, this movie, as you can gather, I think is something very special. It's probably at the higher end of peril for young watchers, but nonetheless, I would highly recommend it because the warmth and the message is so beautiful. So, The Wild Robot is rated PG. It has a running time of 101 minutes. It played the Toronto and London film festivals this year and was released in the USA last month. I think it's going to be available for digital downloads in the United States on Wednesday and will be released in the UK on Friday, the 18th of October. Thank you for listening.